Hello and welcome to the Glassgirls network with me, Jonathan. Today we've got a bit of a special guest, someone who knows Stourbridge very well. Niamh Deasy, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. You?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for joining me today ahead of your game against Sutton Coldfield in the Cup. I'm just going to read a few things out. I just want to know what it kind of like makes you feel like. So, you was our leading goal scorer last year.
Yeah.
You was the league's leading goal scorer the year before that. You was the league's leading goal scorer before that with a different club. When you think of these things, what do you kind of think of?
Well, now that you've said that, I've got feel a bit confident about it. Yeah, the past few seasons scoring goals have been incredible, and I think now is the real challenge scoring them in Tier 3. I scored at Stourbridge, I scored a goal at West Brom, I've scored a goal here, so I know I can do it.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, looking back at all of that and having the confidence into these games now in Tier 3.
Well, you scored against Derby
Yes.
on the opening game, and a lot of Stourbridge fans were all together at the Wolves game. Stourbridge were playing Wolves, and we was all together, and we heard that Khalsa had scored, and it was like, who is it? Who is it? And every one of us was hoping it was Deasy, and like, oh yeah, and then we found out it was yourself, and there's still a massive buzz around the place. Everyone was happy that you scored, and I think that's really nice, even though you're not with Stourbridge anymore.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that you've left a positive mark on Stourbridge at all?
Yeah, I think so. I think what you've just said shows the positive culture that we built there, and that was really incredible. The times that we had there, gaining promotion, our campaign in Tier 3 last season was brilliant, and I think it was a credit to everyone who was involved in it, because that positive culture, as you've just said, me moving on, but still being happy to hear that I'd scored, just shows how nice it really was there, and those people that were there understand that and they get it.
Yeah,
great.
there's about 20 of us all just there, all together. It's like all looking at each other and pumping the air. So yeah, that's good. That's good. There's an iconic photo of you when you scored against West Bromwich Albion.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty, but I'm gonna pick this one. Was that kind of like a very was that like your favourite moment, or it's definitely very memorable to the fans?
My football career so far, that was my favourite football game I've ever played, and I think the result alone shows how important that was to us, but the photos and what it means to the girls that are involved in that game was incredible. To have a big club come down to the War Memorial at the time, little old Stourbridge going out there and winning 7-2 and scoring 2 of those goals, it definitely was my favourite memory in football. Yeah, 100%.
A lot of things clicked that day, didn't it? Obviously scoring 7, and obviously Andy Fisher's first game back at the War Memorial ground as well.
Yeah.
It was an amazing day. It really was, to beat like a local rival as well. One of your teammates, Senna Robinson, also scored that day, and a great photo of how Senna getting on.
Yeah, Senna's great. She's so young but got so much potential. I'm really getting on well with her. I feel like she's a little bit of like a little sister to me here. So yeah, looking out for her. We do some work ourselves outside of training as well. Me, Senna, and Meg Bailo as well. So it's working together and trying to perform what we do outside of football onto the pitch here.
That's great. That's good to hear. So we're at Khalsa today. That's where we are. First of all, how have you settled into Khalsa?
Yeah, it's great here. It reminds me of a lot of like the times at Stourbridge in terms of that positive culture.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy, everyone supports everybody. And it's not necessarily all performance driven, it's about having that mentality and having that the culture that is being built here and is obviously already embedded in here is what brings the team together, and I think that's really important for me. Working in an environment outside of football where culture is embedded in everyone, and I think that from that you perform really well.
You must have had a few options going into this season. What is it that made you choose Khalsa?
My career. My career is really important to me. I'm very career driven, and I'll always put that before anything. I had experience at West Brom, which was tough with managing the football side of it and work. So I think this gave me the option to still play at Tier 3, be fairly close to home. And I got on really well with Andy when I met him. I thought he was a brilliant guy, and he was a real driving force to get me here. So yeah, I enjoyed the chats that I had with him, and it made me want to come.
We'll go into a bit more detail on the second part of this interview, which will be on a different platform, a different channel. So we will get into that like mixture of how your career has gradually improved in regards to football, and how that's kind of balanced your work-life balance. So we'll touch on that a little bit more in a separate video, which will be coming out soon as well. You mentioned earlier about like similarities. What were the similarities between Stourbridge and Khalsa? Because as you say, you're at Khalsa now, and they've just been promoted to Tier 3. you was at Stourbridge when they were just promoted to Tier 3. Can you see many similarities in that sense, or is there more differences? How would you kind of define them?
I think it's a case of, and no disrespect to anybody, but everybody knows in Tier 3 you've got your top half and you've got your bottom half, and I think the bottom half are, it's so much more challenging in terms of resources, what's available to them, how many people can commit and what they can commit, and I think that's really enticing to have that challenge and know that you don't have what other clubs in the league have, and know you don't have the resources and you don't have 10 members of staff and people, or being able to yourself to commit to 3 or 4 times a week. So knowing that you're kind of the underdog before you've even gone in is quite I quite like that challenge.
Yeah.
Knowing that sometimes you can score goals, you can keep a clean sheet, so I think that's what's good about it, definitely.
You said you got like a season under your belt at Tier 3 already. Obviously you've played under different managers at
Yep.
different clubs. You certainly look fitter and healthier than you've ever been. Still banging in the goals. Is this the best that Niamh Deasy has ever been as a footballer, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I think, definitely. I think the fittest I was my time at West Brom, and I think that was credit to the amount of times that we was in training and what gym work we was doing as well. I've tried to keep that up, as well as manage my own well-being outside of football. So I think, in terms of my physical fitness, definitely now it's a shame that it took 28 years to get there, but we got there in the end.
But that was because obviously you went to Tier 3 and there was a big push, wasn't there, from Tier 4 to Tier 3. Everyone was talking about, it's all about fitness now, it's all about being an athlete. And did that kind of get to you a little bit at that
absolutely.
point?
I distinctly remember, and I'll always remember the conversation I had with Andy Fisher, and he said, you're not fit enough. And some people would have been like, do you know what, I'm not good enough then, but I thought, do you know what, no, like, you're right, 100% you're right, and I worked hard on it, like my diet, my nutrition, as well as exercising more, and I'll always be thankful for Fisher for having that honest conversation. I think in women's football, I don't think it happens enough.
Yeah.
So I'll always credit him for that. It was a good chat that we had, and it worked.
So just a little bit about this season then. Khalsa's objectives. What are you thinking? What do you talk about? Obviously, don't give too many secrets away. But like, are you looking at yourselves as relegation candidates, or do you look at yourself in a group of 4 maybe?
Yeah, I don't think relegation candidates. Hopefully not. I think towards the top end of the bottom 6 is what we're aiming for. And I think, depending on how fit all of our squad are, who comes in, who goes out, whatever it is, I think we've definitely got a chance of maintaining our position in Tier 3. But as you know, every single week is a huge challenge. It's not like, this week we can take our foot off the pedal a bit, but, and that's what I like about it. It's good to have that challenge every week, and it makes you feel a bit more valued to be part of such a prestigious league.
Yeah. Do you look at results yet, or is it still too early? Like on match days, do you look at like Stourbridge results and Hull results, Halifax, or is it still too early?
Straight on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Straight on Twitter after the game, see how everyone's got on. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's understandable. So do we. I mean, it's a shame because in this league, I find that like there's like 5 or 6 games where I don't think that the team that I support, Stourbridge, are likely to pick up results, and then there's like 2 or 3 games where they are likely to, and then there's maybe 3 or 4 where you're kind of favourites to. And I think that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at the games around me, and it's a shame because obviously Khalsa played at Forest away last week, and I know that you wasn't there. However, these games are fantastic memories, but they're very hard to like kind of get results. Whereas when you're playing the bottom 3 or 4, I think it's a lot more likely. That's the way I'm kind of looking at it.
No, absolutely. I think it's hard not to look at it like that, to be honest. I think it's credit to women's football in general how strong this league is, but also it's a shame that there's such a split in terms of what's available for the girls that play within the teams in the league. So yeah.
Just one last one from myself. There's thoughts about returning to the Warmore ground. And even we're bringing Stourbridge here as well. So you should be obviously playing them at least twice this season. What are your thoughts going into those games?
I'm quite excited to go back there. No bad blood around there, is there? It's such a good club with a great culture, great people involved with it. And Clements, fair play to him, he's done a brilliant job so far. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to going back, seeing a few old faces. Playing against the likes of Mill and Rosie, I'll be looking forward to it. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there with Aid. I think such a tough job when he first took over. A lot of things happened, and he had to do a lot of things early. But he's got a couple of results on the board that you wouldn't think is a positive, but when you actually watch the game and you see who we're actually up against, they actually are positive and positive performances. So hit the nail on the head there, absolutely. Niamh, fantastic to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'll speak again soon.
Cheers, thank you.